Well, welcome. We are doing the Global Campus Open House Meet and Greet. We are here first with Joy Thompson. She is a representative of the advising team. Welcome to everybody that's in this room. If for some reason you find that you can't hear us, please put something in the chat box and we'll be able to fix that. And we're going to go ahead and get started.
Hi everyone, my name is Joy Thompson. I'm an advisor here at the Global Campus, and I'm happy to talk with you about advising. As you can see on the slide, we're basically working together to reach your educational goals, because what advising is really a team sport. You guys get to do all the lifting as heavy lifting as students, as we as advisors kind of are along for the ride. So as we start this presentation, please feel free to put any questions or comments you have in the chat box. If there's something I can answer for you, let me know. I'd love to make sure you have all your questions answered. So again, if there's something you'd like to know about advising, put that in the chat box and I'll be happy to address that for you. So the first thing I want to talk about is kind of what can you expect from your advisor. Again, like I said, this is a team sport. So you get to do most of the work, but we're along for the ride. So what we want to do is help make a map for your goals. So you probably have a long-term goal, the reason you came to school. Some of it's personal achievement, some of it might be a career change, some of it might be you're not sure what you want to do, but you know you don't want to do what you're doing now. So part of what we want to help you do is to figure out what your goal is and how do we get there. My personal experience is I am someone who loves to hike. And so one of the things I found about hiking is there is many different trails that gets you to the top of the mountain. So as your advisor, you may have a goal to get to point X, but what you may not be aware of is all the different routes that you can take. And we want to make sure we help you find a route that best fits you. I was relatively new to hiking a few years back. And when I first started out, I looked for the shortest, least steep trail to get me to where I needed to go. And other people were willing to just kind of power up quickly up the steepest point. So what we want to talk with you about is where are you at? What's going to be the best route? Have you conditioned yourself to be able to go up the steep route? Do we need to find kind of more of a circular route that better fits where you're at with what's going on with life? So as an advisor, we want to talk about that and help you find the best route to your goal. The other thing we can do is we can give you insight on how to navigate university procedures. We are experts in university language, and most of the students I know, university language might as well be Greek in many situations. There's just terms, rules, procedures, policies that are just different. It's not stuff you deal with on your everyday life, but it's stuff that your advisor deals with day in, day out, week after week. So what we want to do is help give you insight on how to navigate those procedures. We can't, again, solve all the problems, but what we can do is give you tools and tips on how to take care of those different policies and rules that the university has. This is part of the second point of translation of rules. There is definitely set rules that the university has said you have to reach your goal or your degree. You have degree requirements, you have university requirements, you have rules on how to deal with conflict in the classroom, there's rules on how to deal with different issues that may come up, and we can help you translate those rules and know how to get to the right spot. The other thing you can expect as an advisor is you can expect us to be a cheerleader. Now, we know that as an adult student, you have a very, very full plate. A lot of students have work responsibilities, family responsibilities. You might be taking care of elderly parents. You might have sick kids. All sorts of things may be coming up. And so sometimes you just need someone to say, it's okay, and you're doing a good job. And that's what we as advisors like to do. If you're struggling, if you need someone to just remind you of why you've taken on this huge role, we're happy to be that cheerleader for you. We're also going to encourage you to think about what is next. When I talk to my students, I often want to have them start thinking about what's their next long-term goal. So for example, I advise psychology students. And psychology students often need to get a master's degree in order to be a counselor or to be able to move into some sort of practicing role. And so usually when they're starting, they're going, I need a psych degree. Yes, you need a psych degree, but you also need to set yourself up to get into a master's program. So as part of your educational experience, we want to talk about opportunities to be a teaching assistant or a research assistant or to be involved in undergraduate education or to make sure you're getting letters of recommendation. So we want you to not just know that this degree is done, but is it getting you to your next step? Maybe, for example, you want to go into a certain career. Well, have you started making connections with people who are in the industry? Have you done any kind of research to make sure it's a good fit? So yes, the degree is really important, but the degree is part of the long-term goal to get you to where you want to go. And so we want to encourage you to think about what's next. So now let's talk a little bit about what advisors expect from you, because again, it is a relationship that we work together on. Like I've said over and over again, you get to do all the heavy lifting. We're just a guide. So while we want to help, there's a lot of things that you're going to have to do the work on, and we're aware of that. You're the one who has to go to class every day. You're the one who has to make those adjustments in your schedule. But we've been on the road to a degree before, so hopefully we can help you navigate some of those roadblocks. We also have to let you know there's some problems we need you to address with a different person. So every once in a while something goes wrong, and you may turn to your advisor, and your advisor might say, oh, you need to go to financial aid, or you might need to go talk to a department chair, or you need to go back to your faculty member. Well, sometimes students are really hesitant to do that, but really when we're telling you to go to someone else, it really is because they are the best solution for your problem. So if you want that problem resolved, we really need you to follow that advice. Otherwise, you just end up frustrated. So if you have a situation where you've said it would be best if you talk to that person, we really hope that you do, because we can't solve all the problems, but we definitely can help you find the person who can. We also need to know when you're running into roadblocks. So if you imagine that I was your, your guide to an African safari, and I said, you need to go to the following spots, and I wasn't there with you, and you ran into a giant log on the road, and you couldn't figure out how to get around it. If you just stopped there without reaching out to me, I might have had another alternative solution for you. So we need to know if you've run into something. So for example, if you're trying to take a class and the content isn't just making sense to you, instead of just giving up, let's talk about other solutions. Maybe a degree that you're on isn't working for you. There might be an alternative way to get to your long-term goal without staying in that particular degree. Maybe you're having a problem with how to navigate a certain rule or a certain tool. Again, if you let us know, we can help you find a solution. The other thing we expect of you is for you to take ownership of your own academic journey. We're here to help. We'll give you all the tools available for you to know how to reach your goal, but we expect you to take ownership of that. We want you to know what the rules are for your degree. We want you to know your degree requirements. We're happy to help answer questions, but it really is your degree, and we want you to take ownership of it. We also want to let us know about your wins. You know, we're in a job where we celebrate all sorts of successes, but sometimes our students leave us and never tell us what happened. Some of my biggest delights as an advisor is when a student gets back a hold of me and says, oh, I got into this master program, or I got into this job, or my family came with me to graduation. In fact, if you walk into my office right now, I have a picture of a student with his son, and he's in his cap and gown. And the first time that we met over the phone, he actually had said his son had just been born. And then he had a picture of his son and him at graduation, and he's now a 3 or 4-year-old little kid. And for me, that's a win. I love hearing those stories. So please tell your advisor about your wins, because it really is something fun to celebrate together. And the last thing we expect from you is not to be perfect. There is so much more going on in your life than school. And I've had phone calls with some of my students where they've been in tears because they thought they could do it all. And I've told them, we don't expect you to do it all. We just need to find the best solution. And it's actually made them cry, because they think that we're expecting them to be a straight-A student, to take care of their family, to do all of it. And we know you can't do it all. So we want to help you, and we want to hear when you have a challenge. So don't run away or hide when things are going wrong. Come talk to your advisor soon, talk to them often, and they can help you find solutions to potential problems as you're going along. So that's kind of a nutshell of what we expect in our relationship. And then here's some general guidelines of just about how to communicate with your advisor. So there's kind of 2 ways. We can do email or phone appointments. Email really should be reserved for these easy questions. They should be things that it's like, I don't know, does SOC 351 fit in my degree requirements? I can answer that quickly, yes or no. But if you ask me if SOC 351 was a good course for you, that's a more complex problem, because we might need to talk about all the different ways that SOC 351 would fit into your degree requirements and what that course entails. Email response time can take up to 24 hours. So if you send an email at 1 o'clock on Tuesday, don't expect an answer at 1:15 on Tuesday. While we love you as a personal student, we also have a whole bunch of students that we're taking care of. So while we want to get back to you as soon as we can, we also have a whole bunch of students that we're trying to get back to as soon as we can. So we do appreciate your patience. Please make sure you use your WSU email. We'd like to respond to that email because then we know for sure that it came from you. It helps us avoid hacking attempts and security breaches. So please, if you can, use your WSU email. And finally, please include your full name and ID in your signature line. There's been times when I've gotten an email from Ashley at an email that's not WSU related. And honestly, I have 3 or 4 Ashleys, and I'm not sure who I'm speaking to. So if you could please include all of that information, it helps us get an answer back to you quickly. Again, you can also make phone appointments, and that's for more complex problems. It's if you need to talk through some challenging situations. If you're just not sure where to turn, that's something that you can use the phone for. And appointments are usually made for the next day unless it's an emergency. So if you call on Tuesday, we're going to schedule it the earliest on Wednesday. It might be Thursday before an appointment opens up. But if you have an emergency, let the person on the phone know, and they'll see who can help you if your advisor's not available. And finally, to schedule those appointments, you can schedule at ssccampus.wsu.edu or by calling 800-222-4978. So if you do have any questions, type it in the chat box. But I just want to let you know, as advisors, we're very happy to work with you to make sure you can reach your long-term goals. And so I'll hang out for some chats, and then we'll be transitioning to our next presentation.
Us while we're just getting to our next presenter. This is Erica England, and she is our Global Campus librarian, and she is going to let us know what resources and ways that she can assist us as a Global Campus student.
Okay, how is everyone doing tonight? I hope you're doing well. So real quick, I know that there's some tutorial materials on Global Connections that have been shared with you already, but I did just want to reiterate a lot of services that we do offer. Of course, first and foremost, our research consultations. A lot of distance students feel like, you know, there's no one there to help them when it comes to their research. I know as a distance student myself, I kind of felt like that as well. And that is one thing that I do want to make everybody aware of, is that, nope, there is lots of help for you for research. And it's pretty much in any format that you feel comfortable with. So if you are more comfortable just emailing, that is something we can do. If you would rather do, like, I don't know, like a Skype or a Zoom, or, you know, there's a million technologies out there that you can actually use to collaborate. We're willing to try that as well. And of course, you can feel free to go ahead and contact me at any point, and I will get you started when it comes to research. So that kind of ties in with subject librarians. So we have discipline-specific librarians who know the ins and outs of the databases and the research and all of that stuff within that particular field. So I always try to help distance students as much as I possibly can, but I want more than anything you guys to know who the librarian is that works with your discipline. So I also will send along that information and get in touch with them so that if there's any follow-up to what I have helped with, how much I've helped with, lack of helping, whatever, I've given it my best attempt, but someone is there to make sure that, yes, you did get all of the needs, all of your needs met. And then, of course, one of the biggest questions that we always get is about accessing articles and resources that are available. Some of the articles, there may be an issue because you're off campus, and so, you know, those are regular questions that we get all the time. And so if you are having difficulties with finding or accessing an article, we can walk you through how to do that. And when all else fails, I will download the PDF and email it to you directly, so that way you can begin working on your research right away. So again, these are just some of the resources that the libraries have to offer you in the way of getting you, getting you started with your research. So, any questions? Okay. Yeah, yeah. So Andrea just whispered, yes. A lot of the resources that we do have available, like the databases, things along that lines, are in the video vault. So you can always access those. So for example, LexisNexis for business majors and marketing majors, they just switched to Nexus Uni. And so that is a totally different interface, a lot of differences between those two databases. And so there's a webinar that's in there that will deal with that, that will help you with that as well.
So thank you, Erica, very much for sharing that. We're going a little faster than what we thought, but we don't have a lot of questions, so that's all right. And actually, our next presenter is here as well. Courtney is going to talk about study abroad, and you can even do that as a global student. So I'm really anxious to hear about that as well. So we can go ahead and get started with her, okay? So thank you so much, Erica.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Okay, so like Andrea mentioned, my name is Courtney, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about study abroad and how that can work for you as a distance student. So this is me, just a little introduction. Courtney Ann Jackson. I am actually the study abroad coordinator located in the Carson College of Business. So if any of you are business students and plan to study abroad, you will be working with me. There are other advisors in the Global Learning Office depending on your major, but the information that I'll give you hopefully will be relevant to everyone. Okay, so what is study abroad? Study abroad is basically taking the same classes or taking an equivalent class that you would take through Washington State University at either one of our branch campuses, on one of our faculty-led programs, or at another institution. And it should not, study abroad, basically, it should not put you behind. I think that that's one thing that comes up a lot for students, is that they think that taking study abroad is like taking a semester off and they don't want to graduate a semester late. That is not the case. You are taking and getting credits for the classes that you're taking, and they should, if you plan ahead accordingly with your study abroad advisor and your academic advisor, equate to the classes that you would normally take. So why you should consider studying abroad. Here are just a couple of reasons. I could talk about why you should study abroad forever, but these are the ones that come up most often. Students want to gain international experience. They want to earn some credits abroad. They want to explore the world. They want to diversify themselves, gain some skills. A big one is standing out in the job market. And then if you are a Carson College of Business student, it also fills your international learning requirement. I'm not sure whether any other colleges have learning requirements, but if you have an international learning requirement for your degree, study abroad is a really great way of fulfilling that. So career benefits. There's lots of different ways that study abroad can help you with your career. Things like networking, building those transferable skills that are becoming more and more necessary when you're when you're going into the job market. I know many of you may already have jobs, but it's something to think about. So yeah, there's lots and lots of different career benefits for study abroad. Let's see. Okay, there's a couple different types of study abroad. These are the four most popular. So we have our faculty-led programs, which is a Washington State University faculty taking a group of other Washington State University students abroad. And you take WSU courses with other WSU students. There are also programs that are called program providers. And this is, it's an organization or a company that runs study abroad. It's usually with other US students, but not necessarily all WSU students. They could all be from all over the US, all going to one place to study abroad together. There's also an exchange program, which is when WSU partners with another university and we send students there and they send students back. And then interning. It's also definitely possible to get an internship abroad for credit in all different types of fields. There's lots and lots of different program providers that will support internships abroad. So this is just an example of some places that some of the business students studied in the year of 2016 to 2017. It's a lot of different places, and I just wanted to give you guys sort of an example of all the different kinds of places you can go. You can go literally almost anywhere, anywhere that, the only places you can't go are places that the State Department does not want you to go and that we would not like you to go for safety purposes. But other than that, you can go anywhere your heart desires with enough pre-planning. So these are a couple of examples of other program providers. I just wanted you guys to have that link through the Washington State University's Global Learning Office. These are some of the most popular companies that our students tend to study abroad through. And that link will take you right there. And it's also on, if you just search Washington State University Study Abroad, that page, it will be there as well. And you can search through all the different kinds of places, all the different programs that you want to work with. There's lots and lots out there. So a couple of things that you should consider, the time commitment. I know that comes up a lot for distance students, how long it can be. There are study abroad programs out there that range from a week abroad to a year abroad, and everything in between. For my students, most of them go on programs that are about 4 weeks to 1 semester long. Through the Carson College of Business, we don't personally run 1-week programs, but there are other colleges on campus that do, and other program providers that have shorter programs. Deadlines depend on which program it is that you choose, honestly, but most of them are quite early. So for example, next week, October 15th, is the deadline for our spring study abroad to Switzerland that is very popular with some of our business students. February is the deadline for our summer programs. So you do really have to start planning ahead. We usually suggest that students start thinking about their experience about a year in advance, to start, working with their academic advisor, to start thinking about finances, all of that kind of stuff. And then in terms of costs, that comes up a lot. Study abroad can be affordable, and I think that's one of the biggest myths out there. There are countries that you can go to that are significantly cheaper than living in the United States. There are programs that you can go on that might be cheaper than the program that you're currently on. There's places where you can go and feed yourself for a fraction of what you buy food for here. So there's if you're looking for a really affordable program, that's definitely possible. There's lots of them out there. And there's lots of locations and a range of prices. So there are some that are more affordable. There are also some that are extremely expensive. You will find all different kinds of programs. Financial aid does apply for study abroad. That's something that I think a lot of students aren't aware of, but you are still a Washington State student. And there are scholarships and fellowships and grants. There's all different kinds of funding out there. I know our college has scholarships just for business students. The International Programs Office has scholarships for all WSU students. I know lots of other colleges also have scholarships that are just for students within their major. So you should absolutely reach out to your academic advisor or to the department and ask them what kinds of scholarships they have available for study abroad. So these are just 3 of the Global Campus students who went last summer. So it absolutely is possible. The one with all the people, I guess it's on your left too, is one of your Global Campus colleagues in Ireland just this past summer. So she went for 4 weeks. She is also a mother of 2, I believe, and a wife, and was still able to make study abroad a reality. And she works a full-time job. So she was literally my hero. She was amazing.
She's my hero too.
Yes. And so she was able to, find the time and make, all of the logistics work for her, because this was something that she really wanted to do. She actually ended up bringing her family, and they sort of lived on the side and got to spend the summer learning. Her kids got to spend the summer learning from a new culture, which was really great. The student in the middle is a student who went to Thailand over the summer. So she went for 5 weeks. And she's actually a single mother and was able to make this program work for her, which was amazing. She worked really hard and found family members and people who she trusted to help her with her child so that she could do this really amazing opportunity. And I think she really felt that it was something that she wanted to prove to her child that she could make work, so that was great. And then the student on the right is a Global Campus student, but slightly more traditional. She is, of student, I don't know, I think she's probably 19 years old. She wasn't married, she doesn't have children or anything, but it was her first time not living with her family. So it was a really big transition for her, and she learned so much over the program. It's really interesting to see, how much she gained. And so she went on our Italy and France program. So, just an example. So if you are interested in studying abroad, here are some next steps for you to take. You will want to attend a Global Cours 101 session, which is basically like a short session that talks about all the different kinds of study abroad and some of the things that we covered a little bit more in depth. And you'll meet with your Global Learning Advisor, who is assigned by degree. So you can find who your Global Learning Advisor is on the Study Abroad webpage, or you can just reach out to the Global Learning Office and they'll schedule an appointment for you with that person. So the phone number is on the screen as well as their email, and they're more than happy. All the Global Learning Advisors are located in Pullman, but they're more than happy to set up a Zoom or a Skype or a phone call or whatever it is that works best for you, so that you can get all the information. And then you will want to have a conversation with your academic advisor as well about study abroad, and what classes would make the most sense to take abroad, what semester might be best for you, or what summer might be best. All of that kind of pre-planning will be necessary to loop your academic advisor on as well. And then if you are considering doing one of the faculty-led programs, make sure that you also attend one of the program information sessions. So, for example, in the College of Business, we have 2 information sessions for each one of our programs. And we do offer these sessions via Skype as well. So any Global Campus students are welcome and encouraged to attend that way. And I think that other colleges most likely would do that as well. And if they don't already have that set up, I think it would be really great to let them know that you're really genuinely interested in studying abroad, because that technology is available and we're all here for students wherever they're studying. So resources, here's the information again for the Global Learning Office, their phone number and their email, as well as my contact information again. And even if you're not a business student and you're just not sure what the next steps are or who you should be reaching out to, please feel free to reach out to me and I can connect you to whoever that person is. Okay, are there any questions?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
How many places have you been, or where have you been?
Oh man, I've been a lot of places. When I was an undergrad, I studied abroad in Italy for a semester on a program provider. When I was in grad school, I studied abroad in Chile on a faculty-led program. I've personally spent time in France, in Ireland, in Greece, in Costa Rica, in India, in Korea, and I think that's it. I think that's all the places I've been.
Wow.
So yes, my whole life is dedicated to talking about study abroad, and I would love to talk to you guys about travel. I don't feel like there are any questions. So if you think of questions later, please let me know.
Okay, thank you so much. So our next presenter is Maya. She's going to help kind of give you some ins and outs and resources that you can utilize for financial aid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get started.
Hi, I am Maya Gillespie. I am one of the senior advisors in Student Financial Services. Am I looking right here, Andrea?
Yes, right
now
now you're sharing your PowerPoint.
Perfect. So you guys just get my wonderful voice. I am the Global Campus Liaison for Financial Aid since
Global Campus is one of the only campuses without an actual financial aid office with them. So if you have talked to me, great. If not, I'd be happy to answer questions later, or you can use me as a resource down the road. A little bit of background on me is that I was a college student. Perfect. Okay, let me do that. All right, so now you can see me. I was a college student that started actually at WSU when I was 18 years old, like a traditional college student. And things didn't really work out for me, and I took quite a few years off, and I went back to school as a non-traditional student in my late 20s and ended up finishing my undergraduate degree and then ended up getting a master's degree over at University of Idaho. So I understand what it's like to be a student, especially a non-traditional student, balancing work, life, family, all that, and school. It's a lot. So I understand where a lot of you are coming from, and so if you have any questions about that, and just want to vent or get some pointers, I'm happy to kind of help you out in that respect too. My master's was in financial literacy over at U of I, and so I am very passionate about, one, helping students, and then two, helping provide financial resources for students to either pay for school, find ways to budget, anything regarding finances, where I had to learn a lot of things the hard way, and I don't think that's the best way necessarily for students to do that. And so I'm passionate about doing that and helping students avoid learning by mistakes and learning from mistakes. So helping students get set up for financial success in school. So with that, that landed me in financial aid. Our office provides, let me put my slide back up, a bunch of different but our office provides a bunch of different resources, not just we process financial aid or process your FAFSA and give you a financial aid package. We do also provide a lot of financial literacy resources. Our office has taken back financial literacy for WSU, and this is going to be for all the campuses. We are gearing up some really cool programs, workshops, and different resources are going to be interactive and both on our website and either in person or virtual for all students. So hopefully we'll have more on that maybe in spring semester, but we have a new associate director on board who is so excited about this. And so I'm really excited about it because it's one of my passions too. One of the biggest things we do obviously is going to be to process a FAFSA. FAFSA just opened October 1st. So if you haven't filled it out, I would highly recommend it. This year they have a mobile app for FAFSA, so that's kind of a cool new thing. And then also we have done a bunch of testing. So we have a bunch of advisors, myself being one of them, who have done some extra training with FAFSA because it's not our application, but it's just something that we have to process from the Federal Department of Education in order to give you financial aid. So we want to be a little bit more trained and up to date and up to speed, I guess, on the application and what students and families are seeing, just so we can understand the frustrations and the questions that they're being asked. One of the cool things now is that I guess when you're completing the application, you can't go forward to other sections before you complete the one you're in. There are also some really cool help features. So if you answer a certain question or you're uncertain, I guess, how to answer the question, there'll be a little help feature on the, I think it's like the right-hand side, that'll pull up some details and further explanation on what you should be doing with that question. I actually talked to a student today who answered A on one thing and then B, which B wasn't, it's not going to let the FAFSA process. And it's saying, hey, there's an error. You can't have this. And so he's like, what's going on? And that little help feature told him, you can't do that because of this. So yeah, so that was really cool, new helpful thing on that. With the FAFSAs, we're going to, we have a lot of rules, regulations, restrictions, all that from the Federal Department of Education. Man, I'm getting tongue-tied tonight. Sorry, guys. So if you have questions on that, we can talk about that. We've done a lot of webinars, so I know with Global Connections, they should be in like the YouTube channel vault and the video vault, but we have certain rules on how we create financial aid packages and where we get the numbers. And there's going to be a lot of these things set by the Federal Department of Education If you ever have questions about this, we are happy to discuss that and kind of give you the breakdown and where these numbers are coming from. But I can tell you that one of the first things that you want to make sure to do as a student is to file your FAFSA by the priority deadline, which for current students, so if you are currently enrolled at WSU, you'd want to get that done by November 30th. If you are going to be coming into WSU next fall, that would be January 31st. And then with that, we also have some verification stuff where people are like, why am I having to provide more tax information and more financial information? Well, there's certain things on the FAFSA that Department of Ed's saying, hey, we just need some follow-up information, some clarification. And so there's a deadline for that too. And so for current students, it's going to be February 15th. Future students, it'll be March 15th. But if you meet both those deadlines, you're going to be receiving the best financial aid package that you are eligible for based on the information on the FAFSA. So it kind of all goes back to the FAFSA, all goes back to taxes and that kind of stuff. Some other things that our office does is administer and award scholarships. Global Campus does have 2 scholarship programs specific to them, but then we have our general scholarship application where maybe I should go back and show me. Okay, just so then. I'm talking a lot and sometimes you don't want to look at the screen, maybe you want to look at me. I talk with my hands, so I apologize for that. But so they have 2 scholarship applications with them, or 2 scholarships. I don't know all the dates off the top of my head, but there are, I think there's one for fall, one for spring, and one for the full year, or maybe one for full year, spring, and summer, I believe it is. Andrea's going to check on that. But so there's those, which we'd highly recommend you applying for, but then we also maintain the general scholarship application. The deadline for that is January 31st every single year. And from there, we have over 700 scholarship programs or scholarships that either alumni or different companies have endowed with WSU. It doesn't mean that we have just 700 awards to award, but we have 700 different awards. From there might be, let's say, $10,000 in the account. And with that, we can then award that as many ways as possible. So when I am reviewing scholarship applications, I do want to award that to as many students as possible, just to kind of share the wealth, but to help more students out. So even if it's $1,000, even if it's $500, that every little bit helps students. And so we do try to do that as much as possible rather than giving like one $10,000 scholarship. We are still awarding some of those. So if you have filled that out for the 18-19 year, we are still awarding those. Most of them should be done by the end of this month or next month. We do keep that open all year long, and we may have some more that come down the road. But I would highly recommend filling that out every single year. It's one application that you can then save those answers and then use them for another scholarship application. So let's say you look at the scholarship search on our website. Through that, there's going to be, I think we have over 1,000 usually on an average day, scholarships that are due in the future that you can then use for WSU, and they're going to have different criteria and different dollar amounts and all that kind of stuff. Everything that you need to know about that is going to be on our scholarship search. You can use those scholarship essays you used before and kind of tailor them a little bit more towards those scholarships and then apply for those. So what are your chances of getting some more free money? Let's see, some of the other things. Oh, did I have to click it?
I included the link too for our online scholarships as well.
Okay, and I don't know how I get back to my, okay. This one's your files. Here I am again, okay. All right, now we're back. What else? We counsel students and families on financial options. So maybe you have been awarded the maximum you're eligible for. We do have a lot of maybe independent students who are just eligible for loans. You're working full time, so you're bringing in income, but you still need somebody to either help pay for school or to kind of offset some living costs because you're maybe not working as much. There may be some other options for you. It's not necessarily just black and white. There are some gray areas, and we understand that. So we are happy at any time to either talk to you on the phone, talk to you via email. We can even, we don't have Skype appointments yet, like maybe academic advising does for you guys, but we'd be happy, even if you work with me, I can schedule a phone call with you on a time that would work for you if our normal business hours don't work. But we are happy to sit down with families and students and kind of talk about what other resources they may be able to tap into, or what other resources are available that maybe they just don't know about. So that's our biggest job, I think, is providing customer service in the counseling area for students and families regarding paying for school. As we know, finances are stressful, and finding ways to pay for school can be a huge burden on families and students. So we want to help ease that and help you find some ways to pay for school. One of the other things I talked about earlier was providing the financial literacy resources. We did have a really cool, I guess we're going to do another one this fall, first annual last spring financial literacy fair, or financial wellness fair for Financial Literacy Month. We're going to have some more stuff, like I said, on social media. I'll have our social media channel information up just a bit, but we post stuff on there every day. We're going to have stuff on the web, all kinds of stuff coming your way on that too. We do have some helpful stuff right now on our website. I think it's under the student resources section. I think that's what it's called, but there's some information on that now of resources that are current at WSU, both in our office and out of our office, and also at some other branch campuses that could be utilized for any students. One of the last things we do in our office is monitor satisfactory academic progress, otherwise known as SAP is what we call it for short. We like acronyms in our office. But SAP is something that's mandated both by the state government level and then also the federal government level, where we need to make sure that students are making progress towards their degree. We don't want anyone becoming a professional student. I mean, nobody necessarily wants to become a professional student as far as I know. So it's us making sure that students are meeting the guidelines set by the government in order to meet their goals. So if students aren't meeting that, the government doesn't want to just give away either free monies or even loan money to them if they're not kind of meeting them halfway. So as a student, your responsibility is to attend classes, get passing grades, and then get your degree and then go on and get a job, right? So the government's saying, hey, we're going to help you out, but if you're just going to be, you know, goofing off and playing around in college rather than attending classes and utilizing this awesome opportunity of going to school and getting education, then we don't want to fund that for you. So we monitor that, and we're really good at communicating with students if they're not meeting that, or also if they have some other things to work on. We do communicate with students via email quite heavily, as do a lot of home and other physical campuses do, and I think Global does too a lot, I'm sure, just because you guys are all over the place. So that's email is a key thing. So I'm sure you guys are pretty good at checking that. That's kind of financial aid, and I guess what our office provides in a nutshell. I was going to go back to me, but I'm so slow at getting this back up, so maybe I won't.
Just that.
Just that. Okay. I'll go back to my slide in a minute. But that's kind of what we provide in a nutshell. Like I said, if you have any questions, I mean, we honestly are happy to talk to you guys at any time. Our office is open Monday through Friday, 8 to I think 4:45 is when the last call comes in. So you can give us a call at any time. We have tons of staff available to help answer questions. We also are available via email too. So if you have questions, we can do that. We are on social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We also have a YouTube channel. We can't do specific student account information via social media, but if you do have general questions, we can answer those. We also post some really cool stuff, especially right now. We have a big FAFSA campaign going on, so I recommend checking that out, and I will put that slide back up. Look at that. So much easier this time. I'll get it at the end. But here's our contact information. We have our email up there, our website. We have some great resources on our website, but then also all of our social media information too.
Well, if you have any questions, you can definitely reach out to her. Thank you very much, Maya, for joining us.
Thank you.
And I can take a few moments if you would like to leave. You're welcome to. I'm going to take a few moments to say what I do, since we have a little bit of time still left. So my name is Andrea. I am the program coordinator for Global Connections, which is kind of, I'm here for you. So if there is an event or there is a resource or anything that you want to know more of or need information on, let me know. My job is to take the campus life and bring it to you. You know, we understand you're all over the place, but you still want that campus, that college experience, and you deserve it. So anything you want to do, let me know. If it's, you know, if you always check events.wsu.edu, it shows all the events. I try to go on there and see what might be interesting to all of you. I know there's sometimes music venues that I will try to live stream webinars like this to kind of teach you and share resources and knowledge with you. Sometimes there's just different events, speakers, guest speakers that come to campus that I live stream as well so that you can participate. So again, if there's something that you really want to see or you want to be part of, let me know. To be honest with you, I'm new to this position, so the more feedback I get, the better, and the better I can assist you. There was one thing, oh yeah, I also wanted to mention, I am hiring student ambassadors right now. In fact, if you go to either our webpage, which is connections.wsu.edu, or even our Facebook page, WSU Global Campus, I know I have a post there. Student ambassador is a part-time job that you will get paid for. You would attend webinars like this to kind of help facilitate questions or things of that nature. So you can do it online. I know in the job description it talks about attending some events live. We do try to make those events only be those that are in your area. Though if there is an event that we need you to participate in, I believe we try to work with you on transportation cost as well. So again, that's a part-time paid position that you can do as well. I'm now taking cover letters and resumes until I believe Friday or Monday. I think Friday might be the thing, might be Monday, I don't remember. But as long as you get me the resume and cover letter by Monday at 5, you'll be in the running. I am hiring about 3 to 5. So please feel free, if that's something that interests you, feel free to fill that out and get that to me. And like I said, if there's anything you want to see or want to be part of or want me to do, your resume is dusty. I understand that, and that's fine. I'm looking at them. I promise I won't be too critical, but there are resume helps out there. Even when you do want to get that resume fine-tuned, Chris Miller, which actually you might want to check that video vault that I posted, because I'm sure he's done a webinar about resumes and different techniques and resources that you can use to get that fine-tuned and up to date. But yeah, so, and it's, you know, you're not necessarily working outside the home, you're working in the home. And I try to do a lot of these webinars in the evening. I know sometimes that's family time, but also sometimes that makes it easier because the kids are preoccupied with other things or whatnot. But there are events during the day too. So because we have 4 to 6 ambassadors, it allows us to divide and conquer the events. So not everyone's doing a certain event at a certain time or anything like that. Something else that we have going on right now is our book club. It's getting started. I believe our first meeting is Tuesday. I want to say it's 6 p.m. We are reading The Power by Naomi Alderman. Oh, you got a book. Good job, Andrea. So that must, yes, you were one of our first 10 registered. So one of the first 10 registered for the book club did receive a free book. So that's great. I actually have started reading. I've got reading to it. I'm enjoying it so far, so I can't wait for that meeting. So again, like I said, little things like that. If you're interested in, you know, a certain type of club or meeting or get together or whatever, just let me know, and I'm more than willing to try to facilitate that and get that started. So thank you so much. I don't know if anyone has any more questions for me. All our presenters have left, but I know a little bit about what they do. So if you have follow-up questions with them, I can try to help you out with that. If not, I think we'll call our evening done. So thank you so much, Andrea and Diane. I know that you might have had a little bit of internet connection, so I'm so happy that you stuck through it and participated in this webinar. And you guys have a great evening, and go Cougs!